Hey everyone, Mary Cristelli here with PCC Wellness and Recreation. I hope you're doing really well, that you're enjoying your summer so far. Today's workout, as I've been doing, I'll put in the description below so you don't have to write that down while you're watching this video. I will hop right into it. We'll start with the warm-up, as we always do. Like it has been, it's 30 seconds for each exercise. We'll do it 2 times through. We have a combination of standing and then some groundwork. We'll start with the standing and then move down to the floor. So first we have a knee hug to a pull, an alternating knee hug to a pull. So what that means is you're just gonna lift your foot up off the floor, pull your knee into your chest, then grab that foot, pull it backward and stretch out the quad. You're gonna alternate left and right. So just hugging and pulling. So alternating knee hug to a pull for 30 seconds. And then you're gonna move into an alternating standing toe touch. So we want your feet about hip width distance apart. And what you're gonna do is just bring one foot forward, kick your toes up toward the ceiling, bend down, and you'll feel a stretch in the back of your leg, a little bit in your calves maybe, but definitely in your hamstring. So you're just gonna alternate, bringing each foot forward and leaning down and touching the floor, bending your back leg as much as you need to get down and touch toward the floor. After we do that, we're going to do an inchworm. What we've been doing with inchworm so far is an inchworm into some sort of other movement. We're not doing that today. We're just strictly doing an inchworm. So what that means is we want our feet about a fist width distance apart. So if you look at that, you put your feet right between the center of your fist on the floor, right between the center of your feet. And that's how you know you have a good distance of your feet for your standing posture. Then you're going to stand up nice and tall, hinge forward at the hips, engaging your core. So want those abs nice and tight. And then you walk your hands out into a plank, walk them back to standing. And we're just going to do this for 30 seconds. So the inchworm for 30 seconds and then move into a squat to a forward fold. So our squat position is just like what would feel like a normal width of your feet. I've got the outsides of my feet, or the insides of my feet are just about hip width distance apart. And I'll turn to the side so you can see it differently, so you can see the full movement from the side, which is easier than doing it from the front. And you're gonna squat down and then come into a forward fold. I think these feel really, really nice. All right, so you'll just rep that out, squatting, and drop it into a forward fold for 30 seconds, and then you get to come down toward the floor. So several weeks ago we did a bear to a pike position. We're going to do that again. And there's a couple different ways we can do this. If you are feeling like you're not wanting to go the full movement today, totally cool. You can have your all four on the floor. So get your hands and knees on the floor, of course your toes too, and you're just going to tuck your toes under. And from this 4 on the floor kneeling position, you're going to kick your hips up into the air into a pike position or the down dog position, and then lower them back down. All right, so that's if you're feeling like I'm going to have a little bit more low-key warm-up today. If you're ready to start engaging your core, firing up those abs, then what you can do is, again, you're going to keep your toes tucked, but you're going to start the position with your knees hovering off the floor. And you're going to go from that into kicking your hips up into that pike or downward dog position. And you'll come back to your knees hovering above the floor instead of touching the floor. So you do the bear to the pike for 30 seconds and then come into an extended child's pose, which there's not movement involved in this. It's just getting into the position and then hanging out there for 30 seconds. So you're going to bring your feet to touch, spread your knees wide, sit back on your heels, and then I'm going to scoot forward. Walk your hands out in front of you and just chill here, feeling that stretch in your upper back and shoulders for 30 seconds. So you'll move through the warm-up 2 times through, 30 seconds each. Remember that the first 2 are alternating. You don't have to do a knee hug to a pull for 30 seconds on your right, and then on your left it's just alternating, so you're going to alternate right to left. With that one, I forgot to mention this, if you need to touch the wall for some stability when you're in that standing on that single leg, no problem. I also have a chair here. It's for something else a little bit later, but you can use a chair for that as well. So for the strength portion of this week's workout. We've got 4 exercises. This week it's 3 to 4 rounds. You pick based on how you're feeling, what you're looking for this week. You choose your choice. So we're going to start with squats to an alternating knee to elbow. It's going to be 6 knee to elbows each leg, so it'll be a total of 12 repetitions. You're going to put your hands behind your head, come into that squat position with your feet. You squat down, cross that right knee to left elbow, squatting left knee to right elbow, alternating 6 each way, total of 12. Then you'll come down to the floor and into a plank position. You can choose to do your plank in a full plank, or again, if you're not feeling it in that way today, no worries, you can drop down to your knees for this. And we're going to do plank shoulder taps. So in our plank position, we want a nice straight line from the top of our head to our heels. We don't want our hips dropping down to the floor. We don't want our hips piked up in the air. We want to have a nice straight line. And I'm going to come forward so you can see the shoulder tapping. With the shoulder taps, we're just alternating right hand to left shoulder, left to right. So you're going to do a total of 10 taps on each shoulder, which would be 20 total repetitions. Then we'll stand back up. And again, this will be 10 each leg, because this is a lower body exercise. It's 10 each leg. It's a single leg knee tuck. So I do have a chair for this today, just in case. So the way that we are in this is that my feet are about a hip width distance apart, and I want to stand up straight and then drop into like a little mini squat and hinge forward at my hips with my back nice and straight. And then kicking your arms up with your biceps near your ears. I'm going to stand, I'm going to put all my weight on my right foot. I'm going to kick my left leg back and then pull everything in. All right, so I'm going to do 10 on the left side, switch, do 10 on the right side. If I'm not feeling that with the hands in the air and everything, that's why I got my chair here. So I'm going to come into that same position, little mini squat, hinge at the hips, come forward. This time I'm going to be on my right side. I've got my right hand extended, my left hand is giving me the stability on the chair. I'm going to kick my right foot back and tuck, just like that. Just right arm in, right knee in, tucking into my body. So you can do it with the chair, without the chair, combination of the two. Either way, you're going to do it 10 repetitions on each leg. The last move for our strength portion is a kick through. So this one has a little bit more explanation as well. What the movement looks like when you're in your full on kick through game is you're going to start in that bear position and you're kicking through. I'm kicking to the right, this is my left leg to my left hand, and alternate kick over right hand, left leg. I'm all mixed up. You're going to kick your opposite leg over. So I'm rolling out to the left, got my right leg to my left hand. Sorry about that. Alternating, all right? So that's what the movement looks like when it's full on. But we're going to do a few progressions today. So to start with, if you've never done a kick through or you're not comfortable with that rotating side to side movement, what we're going to start in is got our hands and knees on the floor. And all we're doing is rolling onto that hip. So come back to knees, roll over toward the left, back to center, over toward the right. You'll go 6 each way. If you wanted to make it a little bit more challenging, you're going to hover those knees off the floor and just rotate from side to side, hips down to the floor. All right, so that's the second progression. Once you get more comfortable with that rolling movement, then you can start adding in the kicking. Okay, you don't have to do the full-on kick. You can just come out, tap that heel to the floor until you feel comfortable enough to be kicking up high. Okay, so those are kick throughs. You do 6 each leg of those for a total of 12 rounds. As with everything, these are recommendations. So if you're like, I'm going to try the kick through and I'm going to try to get one good one on each leg, like one full on kick through, then I'm good, no problem. Just set your own standards, set your own benchmarks, and then see what you progress to over time. So again, with the strength one, it's 3 or 4 rounds, you choose. Once you're finished with that, you'll move into the cardio circuit, which obviously the strength portion, certainly with trying to talk at the same time, is a little cardiovascular. So appreciate your patience with the breathiness of my air. What we've been doing with our cardio circuits mostly is that it's been a work to rest ratio. So we're trying something a little bit different today. It's a form of like a tear down exercise. So you start with higher repetitions and you go down to lower or fewer repetitions. Sometimes they'll do like you go 10 and then 9 and then 8. We're not doing that version. We're doing 3 rounds. So the first round will be 15 repetitions each exercise. The second will be 10 reps each, and then 5 reps for the third round each. We have 2 movements. We have lateral hops, and then we have froggers. So the lateral hops, it's going to be repetitions each way. So lateral hops, we're just hopping left to right. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we want to do 15, and then 10, and then 5. So we'll do our 15 lateral hops. With those, if you want, you can go for distance. So you're like, I don't, you can do speed. So you can put something on the floor like a towel, a ruler, just to mark what you're jumping over, even a shoe or a water bottle. And you can go for speed if you want. You can go for distance if you want. Or if you like to put something high, you can go for height. So you just, all right, so you pick whatever you want for those. So you do lateral hops, and then we have froggers. And so froggers, we're going to be in a plank position. Again, nice line, straight line from the top of our head to the base of our feet. And all we're doing is jumping our feet up to the outside of our hands. Okay? We do that. Now, you may not have the range of motion or comfortability in the range of motion of jumping your feet all the way to the outside of your hands. So if you get here, that's awesome. If you get here, cool. Whatever works best for you. If the jumping motion is something you're not comfortable with or you're not wanting to do this time, also not a problem. You can just alternate stepping your feet up toward your hands. If you do the alternating single leg, try and do like 15 each leg, and then 10 each leg, and then 5 each leg. So you'll do the cardio portion, you'll do 15 rounds of lateral hops, 15 reps of froggers, then 10 of each, and 5 of each. And last, we have our core. We've got 3 movements today, 2 rounds through. We have core movements pretty much in each, or actually in all of the workout today, and so I knocked the repetitions or the rounds down on core because there were a lot of movements that had some core, like specific focus on it. So the first one is a half get up sit up. So what that is I have my left leg extended, got that left heel touching the floor, got my right foot flat on the floor, right knee facing up toward the ceiling, and then I lay back on my back, extend my right hand up, fingertips pointed toward the ceiling, and I'm going to bring my left arm out about 35 to 45 degrees away from my hips. So I have like a little triangle, like space at between my armpit, and hip. And all I'm doing is I'm just going to sit up onto that left elbow. Now, you will use a little bit of your left arm, shoulder strength to push yourself up, to lift yourself up into this sit-up position, but we really want the strength to come from our abs. So you do that on the right side for 8 rounds, then switch, right leg extended, left leg flat on the floor, again sitting up with your left foot flat on the floor. One thing is that we're really wanting to make sure that the heel of your extended foot and the bottom of your bent knee foot are touching the floor. So if you're noticing that your heel or leg are coming up off the floor, really wanting to focus on keeping that touching the floor while you're moving through the movement. If you struggle with that and it's not happening, don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay, just set a mental reminder of like, cool, that's something I can work on, is keeping that foot anchored to the floor. So you do 8 each of the half get-up sit-ups, and then flip over onto your belly for alternating Supermans. What we'll do for that is we're going to have our toes on the floor, feet zipped up together, knees, ankles, thighs, everything touching. We're going to extend our arms out in front of us, and we want that nice neck alignment, so we don't want our chin up to where we're looking toward the ceiling. We also don't want it tucked in toward our chest. We just want our chin pointed toward the floor and our gaze looking down. And what we're doing is I'm going to lift my right arm off the floor and my left foot up off the floor. Lower that back down, left arm, right foot. And we're just alternating, lifting and lowering, opposite arm, opposite foot. So 8 each of the alternating Supermans, and then we'll flip back over to our bums for something that is called Wheel of Fortune, which I just really like. I think that's a great name, but I also like the movement. So I am going to lay down with my feet extended out, back and everything touching the floor. When I do these types of exercises, sometimes I will put my hands underneath my low back, mostly to protect my bones from the floor, so that's why I'm doing that. You can do the same if you like. So Wheel of Fortune, there are a few different ways we can do this. So you're gonna hover your feet off the floor, pull your knees in towards your chest, kick your feet toward the ceiling, lower them down straight. So there's option 1. Okay. Option 2 is we're gonna do the reverse. You're gonna lift your feet up toward the ceiling, tuck your knees to your chest, kick your feet out. So here's option 2 of Wheel of Fortune. If 1 and 2 you're like, ooh, maybe not for me, not today, that's cool. You can do leg lifts. So you're just lifting your legs up, lowering them back down, up and down. Or you can do knee tucks. You're just gonna pull your knees in, kick your feet out, hovering your feet just off the floor when you're in that full extension position. No matter which option you choose for Wheel of Fortune, just aim for 8 repetitions. Again, 2 rounds through the core portion. I hope that you have been enjoying these workout videos. I'm going to keep doing them. Thank you again for tuning into these and giving that time to this. I hope you thank yourself for the time you're giving yourself, just in your body to work it out a little bit and get your blood pumping a little bit. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Comments, concerns, whatever, we're here. We want to answer those. We want to make sure that you feel fully supported, and that if you have anything that feels unclear, that we can clear that up for you. I hope you have a really great workout. I will see you next week, or more so I think you'll see me next week, and take it easy.